Good afternoon, welcome. Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections and Voter Registration, July 8th, 4:34 PM, 2:55 or 2555 Lexington Road, Athens, Georgia. First item on the agenda is to adopt. Chair entertains a motion to adopt.
I so moved. One second.
Okay, motion, Ms. Fambro, second, Ms. Till. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Agenda is adopted. Next, approval of minutes. There should be 4 sets of minutes in the packet. Take a look, and the floor is open. If someone would like to make a motion to approve those or recommend an edit. Which one? The June 20th?
No.
Oh, you met here for both? I wasn't at
The
the,
301. We want it. That, okay, we read. As I remember.
Mr. Chair, I see.
sorry. I see, okay. 10 AM, we were here, got it. Yes,
I see what Ms. Till is pointing out, and what y'all pointed out to me. The announcements under the June 10th agenda incorrectly list the location of what was the June 20th meeting. The June 20th meeting
it's correct.
is correct, but.
Yeah.
So
You could just change that.
we could, right, I would assume it's just a scrivener's kind of thing to fix that. But I guess to be formal, I would move that we approve the minutes from those meetings with the amendment to the June 10th minutes to correct the location under the announcement section of June 20th.
The motion is recognized. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? say
Aye.
Aye.
Adopted. Public comment. Oh, there's Ms. Elsner.
I know, and I'm Jackie Elsner, 315 Caldwell Circle, and at the moment, I'm speechless about the kinds of voter suppression that we face this year and next year. So I'm gonna stay conformed and alert, and I'll do as a citizen what I can, and I'm sure y'all are gonna be informed of what might come to post laws or federal laws. Not gonna try to help everybody who's currently eligible to be a voter to continue to. So, that's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, thank you for that. No other members appearing, so we will move on, or no other members of the public. The next item is Director's Report. Recognize Ms. Long.
Thank you, Chip Ruffle. Welcome today.
Again,
I'll start out with the activity report for 2025. So we have a total of 86,934 eligible voters, of which 73,385 are active, 13,549 are inactive. For its cancellations, we had a total of 15 cancellations, which is 1 that moved out of state. None through the Jarvis portal at this time because everything is on hold due to the elections. 14 deceased. And then, absentee ballots, for this month, which has been updated, because here it's got 14, but as of today it's 26. And then we had 1 open record request. And we had, the absentee ballot returned. We had 1 so far that has been returned. No challenges, and we've had 6 voter items. Okay, and for the department focus, for the June 17th primary elections, just to recap of, we had a total vote cast of 3,626. We had our risk limiting audit on June 26th with 2 batches that were hand counted. One of the batches could not be counted because it was a Democratic ballot because they were doing Republicans. The item was to confirm the accuracy of the results of the Public Service Commission District 2 Republicans test. We had no deviations from the original candidate vote totals. We was at 100%. Secretary of State reported for the state that the election officials audited 328 batches of ballots. And of those ballots, 327 had no deviation from the original candidate total votes. The single batch, which was a discrepancy, was within expected margin of error found for a hand count. In the update for Winterville, the deadline for the recount request was June 25th. There was no request for a re-election that was due from that. And is there any update?
No.
So now we're in the July 15th special primary Democratic runoff. We did LNA on July the 1st at 9 o'clock here out here at 2555 Lexington Road. Advance in person began on Monday, July 7th at 8 a.m. As of right now, we have 166 voters, of which yesterday we had 68 voters. We had 26 ballots that were issued and then 4 absentee ballots that were received. So the election for the runoff is held at the elections office downtown, 155 East Washington Street, Athens, Georgia. We exceeded the less than 1% turnout, so that means that all polling locations will be open on July 15th. The pre-certification meeting is scheduled for the July primaries. Runoff is scheduled for Monday, July 21st at 3 p.m.
Says 18th.
Friday, July the 18th at 3 p.m. And then the certification will be that Friday as well at 5 p.m. here at Lexington Road. 5 or 5:30. It was,
We're talking Friday the 18th?
yeah, Friday the 18th.
Nope. It'll just
I'll
be
be-
3 of you, right?
I'll be here.
Yeah, but what
What
time
time
is
did
it?
you say? Was it 5:30 or 5?
It's usually 5:30.
Okay, so
But-
we'll keep it at.
That's fine. Are you okay with that? Will you be here?
I
Oh,
will.
okay. No. Adam will. And you two will be.
I can make either one work.
Okay, and then, so we have the, last day to receive, absentee ballots was Monday, July the 7th. And we have the, resident audit that will be scheduled for July the 24th. And then we have, polling locations update. I guess we want to do that part, I guess now, because it's kind of a combination of the old business, so.
Mm-hmm.
Could we pause and ask one question?
Okay,
On this kind of confusion we just had on Friday, July 18th, at 3 and 5:30. Just make sure the agendas reflect that.
okay.
So if
Okay.
if it needs to be 5, then do 5, but let's just make sure the agenda matches.
Normally it'd be 5:30 because 5 p.m. is the cutoff time
And then-
for provisional ballots.
Right.
You have to
That's
time
true.
to get them.
Okay,
Sure it's clear.
got it. All right,
So it is confirmed that everything is July the 18th and the pre-certification's at 3 and the certification will start at 5:30.
it works. Okay. All right, sorry to interrupt.
That's
Carry on.
that's okay. And then now I'm gonna hand this off to Miss Lisa McGlone, who's gonna give us some polling location updates and mention about the board workbook.
Okay. So this is continuing the conversation about precinct 7A and no longer being able to vote at Timothy Baptist Church and needing a solution because we can't stay combined with 7B, like you voted for the summer elections. We can't stay there in 2026 because there's just too big of a turnout to have the two locations combined.
Mhm.
I was hoping to have an update so that we could have somewhere to go in November, but it doesn't look possible. what Pam and I did last week, we went out and had a meeting with Chestnut Grove Baptist Church, which is why there's two maps in front of you. So you guys can look at those, just share them among the five. It was just to point out that Chestnut Grove Baptist is outside the precinct boundaries, but just barely, like right across the street. And they seemed positive about, at least the pastor seemed positive about wanting to partner with us to be a polling site.
Yeah, they have a huge community space,
It's
like
beautiful.
in the back.
Yeah, that's what he offered to us.
Yeah.
It meets all the requirements, you know, it would be wonderful if we could go there.
Separate from the church if they had an event or a funeral or whatever.
Right, so it's really.
Yeah.
He asked that he wants to present this information to his congregation at their next meeting. That's not until August, which is after the date when we need to make a decision. For an out of precinct polling location, you have to make the change 90 days before an election. That's August 6th. So that wouldn't give him enough time to solidify what they want to do. So I offered to him that we would not come there until the May election in 2026. And so for the November and just possible December runoff, we would just, if you vote to do so, we would just stay combined with the library, since those will be smaller elections as well. And then we'll be ready for 2026, if they say yes. If they don't say yes, I'm not sure what we're gonna do, because no one else is getting back to me with any kind of positive response.
Does he not have like executive privilege for?
He does,
One.
he seems to care about the thoughts of his congregation and wants them behind him.
Okay,
It's a
good.
lot to support, so,
Sure.
yeah. Okay,
I'll get
so,
to drive past that one to go vote it.
yeah. So there's a new thing. 4B, Memorial Park. There is a possibility, strong possibility, that in November, we won't be able to use the Memorial Park because of parking lot renovations that will be going on there. It's quite an extensive renovation, and there won't be any access to the building. That's about a 12 to 18-month project, so it could impact 2026 as well. But they're in the early stages, so they're not positive yet. Alex Bond, the interim director of leisure services, hasn't gotten back to me yet with the specifics, but he wanted us to know that it most likely would affect November and December. So the suggestion for that, and you don't have to vote on it now, you can do it later, is to combine 4B with 7C, which is Millage Baptist Church.
4B and 7C.
Again, for November is.
Just for November and December. And by that time, we'll have a better idea of the scope of the project and if it's gonna affect 2026. And then we'll have to come up with an alternative that's not combining the two precincts.
Okay. Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment.
How exciting.
And when you go into old business, you can, because I think if I remember right, I think you voted just to combine 7A and 7B through the summer elections. And then to move forward with something in the fall different if there was an option. So I don't know, you might have to vote to extend it through the end of the year. Okay, the other thing is, I don't know what meeting it was, but it was mentioned to me that, I think it was when you guys saw the poll worker handbook that we put together. There was some talk around the table that somebody heard a little bit of, that you might appreciate something similar geared towards the board with information that you need. So if you look, let's see, where is it? All the way sort of at the end, behind the green paper, what I did was put together an outline of a table of contents, because before we do something like this, I want to get an idea if you want it and what type of thing you want in it. Is it more high level? Is it a deep dive into elections, which is more what this outline is about, just to gauge your interest of having something like this that's just for you guys so that you can refer to it when you have questions about elections, or especially like when you're going around to different precincts on election day, you'll already have some of the information in here right there available to you. So you don't have to do it right now, but if you'll take these lists with you By the next meeting, you can get back to me and let me know how you feel about this, what you kind of want, or if you want to look it over and talk about it now, whatever you want to do is fine. But I would suggest 2026 will be really busy. This is something that I would like to work on between now and the end of the year, not next year.
It's a great idea.
This is beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now after 6 years.
I think, yeah. Go ahead.
My opinion, which I've already told Lisa, is I don't believe in busy work, so I don't know that this is the best use of her time, but that's not my place to manage
Well, I won't
that.
do it
But
all.
that's my opinion,
We'll divvy it up and
sure.
do different parts together, you know. It won't be all me.
I don't want this, having to do something for us to distract from having to look at streets and audits and all the other parts of your job.
Well, to me, you could start with something high level, with the basic information that you need, and then we can add to it as we go along if you want. I mean, and even though this looks kind of long, I didn't envision any of these sections being like a book. It would be more like a page or two on each of these things, just to give you enough information so you feel like when you're talking about elections with other people that you have all the knowledge that you need.
There's a lot to know and I don't feel like I ever know enough.
Yeah, you're right.
Feel the same way. And we are 5 of the more informed people in this county, and we know enough to know, whoa, there's way more than we understand. And so the average citizen
I
doesn't,
wouldn't want to explain it to them.
right, but this would at least arm us, equip us with where to tell them to go look.
Let me see, let me go to that
Right,
page and I'll
right.
tell you.
Yeah, I mean, this is reminiscent of the board retreat that we did for you guys several years ago. It's some of the same topics, but it just puts it all
I
together
was thinking of that.
in one place.
I think it's a great idea.
I definitely, I agree completely with Ms. Till, but I agree with Chair Raffle that it's a zero-sum game, and even in an odd-numbered year, we're finding, we've had how many elections so far this year?
Yeah.
And so,
It's a year, but
right, so yeah, whatever we were to come up with, I echo your sentiment about it being always a lower priority than any of the other official duties that y'all have.
I don't think Ms. McClung would offer something like this if she thought it was really low level. If she thinks that she can accomplish this to help the board, I think she feels it's important.
I agree. And any bit of work done on this is progress, and it's
Yeah.
more informative than we have right now at our fingertips, so, yeah.
do you want to mark off any topics that you're not interested in, or you feel like are not important for you? Or something that maybe I've forgotten?
I think to me, this to me looks like it's what our staff is saying to us are the important things to know. And so that makes me trust, like, I would not want to cross one of these things out because it's what I assume.
Feel free to cross something out.
Okay.
Because this is just me going, oh, this might be fun to know about. Oh, this might be fun. It's not like it's only if you want the information.
Gotcha.
Looking, just scanning over it, not looking at each individual thing.
Yeah.
I think that I would trust you to just choose one, the first one, Federal Election Commission. Maybe you think you could say that in a paragraph.
Be the shortest, because I mean, I just wanted you to know everything that affects us, so that if you hear somebody talking about something, you know where to go find the information.
And if
Might
you
not
go down,
exist by the time you get to writing it, so.
I think you're right.
and then when you go down to election types, you may want to give some more information on that.
Mhm.
So I think I would leave it up to your discretion
Okay.
to what you think, well, this is probably, we just need to skim the surface of this, but this might be more important.
So I can get wordy, so maybe just do this. Do you want high level, medium level, or deep dive into this
How
stuff?
about just medium? Let's just start there.
Just have ChatGPT
There we
give
go.
you 2 paragraphs, read 3 books, and then it'll summarize down.
Use this power output for a small town to produce 3 paragraphs, yeah. Something important to me, which please feel free to say this is not the right place for this. I think it's important to be able to cite where exactly, how come we have to do it this way? Is it Secretary of State? Is it federal law? Is it, that way, like, for the citizen advocates in the community, they know whom to go complain to, right? You can't go complain to Representative Gaines or Fry about the Voting Rights Act of, you can't do that. They can't change that. And vice versa for Secretary of State rules, right? So I think that would be a great way to help direct people's energy where best they can get things like that changed. So
And
this-
coming off of that, if I wanted more information about what Ms. McClellan's given to us, I could get my book and go to that particular thing and read all that I want to read about it.
Right.
All 12 pages of whatever
Right.
it is.
And when our neighbors come to us with those concerns too, we can say, look, all we know is to go to this part of the code book,
Yeah.
which is not my interpretation, it's what the code says.
That's right.
Right, that would, yeah, that'd be good to have.
Okay. Well, this will be good for me too. Learn more too.
Hope you get paid per word.
Like Charles Dickens.
All right, well, that's all I have.
All right. Any,
Okay, thank you. And then, just a reminder of the Gabrielle Conference for those who are going to be in attendance. It's August 10th to the 13th. Registration ends Friday. So if you have not registered, please do so. And if you're planning to go on the riverboat cruise, do so at that time. We had just one open records request and, it's attached in your agenda. Well, I mean, in his book, well, so, okay, and that is all I have. Any questions?
any questions? Right,
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
works for me. All right, back to the agenda. Old business, precinct change at request of community parking. So it was mentioned that we may need to extend the vote we previously took to rename the next elections. So we were covered under that vote for the current one. Right,
I think it said like the summer
so,
through the
It was through the runoff.
okay, so what are you recommending? Would the next one be just,
November and December.
shall we, attorney, shall we do a new motion, reconsider the other one and edit it, or how to do this?
Right.
One works for me. Floor is open for a motion.
So do we need a motion to continue with what we initially decided to combine these for the next elections? Is that what the motion would be?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let Adam spit it out.
Yes, ma'am. I just was able to pull up, our minutes from the April meeting this year. We had a motion, this was the motion language about temporarily only for this election right here and the runoff to move the precinct. Did we want to take that and dust it off and extend that, or let me just start typing that language again and read it back to you?
I would just copy that,
Mhm.
change the two dates to whatever December and January dates are.
Okay,
November and December.
Yeah.
Version to 2026. Bad things are coming.
almost there.
It's like, your typing is kind of like listening to the creek. Dribble.
Is the idea here to get, like, have the same situation we're doing right now happen for November, like continue as we've been doing? All right, in that case, I then have a motion by Ms. Till to move temporarily and only for the November election and the potential December runoff due to an emergency situation at the current polling place at Timothy Road Baptist Church having become unavailable, the precinct 7A polling place to the Athens-Clarke County Library located at 2025 Baxter Street.
Boy, I'm wordy.
You want to roll back in your
That's beautiful.
I'm never wrong, okay?
You're okay with that
I'm
motion?
good, I'm good.
You have a second?
Second. Well, go ahead. You guys had the second thing going on.
What?
All right. Motion, Ms. Till, second, Ms. Fambro, all those in favor, say aye. Okay, motion passes. Next item is new business. I did have a question for the attorney on that article I sent you, the ruling, it's not really new business, but did you have a chance to look
I
at that?
glanced at it. So the, Chairman Raffle is referring to the Georgia, the Court of Appeals, just yesterday, I guess.
Oh.
Issued an opinion in, let's see what the case is. Adams versus Fulton County, and it was, regarding, whether or not a board is required to certify an election, right? And, again, I just skimmed over it prior to coming here, but they did affirm that the trial court's holding that the local officials, election officials, so you guys have a mandatory duty to certify elections, just what we know. And they even went into discussion at length about the exact topic we were talking about at the certification meeting, which was actually the only basis you would have to even inquire and ask for additional documentations is if there was that disconnect between the number of electors and then, in the number of ballots or something like that, if there was an actual discrepancy in the numbers. But even still, you have a duty to certify that election.
Yeah,
You shall certify.
Why was this even in court? Was it challenging one of the rules, this state election board, or was there a law?
If I remember,
Last session?
yeah, if I remember the posture, there was a member of the Fulton County Board of Elections who refused to certify the election.
That's right.
Yeah, who was but I don't know if, but to be honest, I don't remember whether or not, I mean, they still certified the election despite.
It was like a four.
Yeah, and I guess she brought a challenge indicating that the board couldn't certify that election, that there were too many questions about maybe fraudulent voters or something like that, but that would not be a basis to even ask for additional documentation under this.
Does that mean, in your opinion, from What
Again,
research?
like 2 minutes of
Okay.
practice, yeah.
preliminarily, did I read correctly in the AJC that like the judge's opinion was that we must certify unless that narrow exception you're talking about? If there's no error immediately visible in the number of voters, we must vote to certify.
Yeah.
Like there's no maybe, there's no extensions, we must.
And what if we meet just certifying that we believe it's wrong?
What?
Mm-mm.
No, in that instance?
I think that it's so confusing,
Okay.
the certificate, I mean, that certification piece is such an odd piece. I think that basically it's establishing that the only way to challenge the results of an election is through the court process, right? That the board itself does not have the authority. You're supposed to, you are to presume that all election results are valid. That's how it works.
As long as the numbers, the sheer numbers of voters matches, that's our only.
Yeah, but I still think that you still, no, we'll have to review the case, more closely in that eternal vigilance case, that one that was more recent, or a couple weeks ago decided by the Georgia Supreme Court. I still think that if you see a discrepancy, I didn't bring my trusty purple book, but if you see a discrepancy in the numbers, there's a duty to investigate, right? To figure out where that number, and really there seems to be no provision, like it seems to be like, just keep investigating until you figure it out, that there still is no option not to certify an election, that you still must certify the election. Even if you suspect fraud and things like that, again, that's for a different, then you report fraud accordingly to the district attorney, the secretary of state, things like that, and the investigation pursues.
so would we just, if that happened, would we just turn that over to staff to do their batch things that they do and see what they tell us?
Yeah, if there was a discrepancy in the number.
Yeah,
Right, so then staff would continue to, just like you guys have before, you remember there was the one additional provisional ballot this past time that we had to kind of figure out. So just get to the bottom of it. So,
so when they told us that they've run their batches and this is what they found, we just accept that they've done their best, they've done what they should do, and then we proceed from there.
that's right, you're to presume that those numbers are valid. That's correct. So hire well. But again, that was honestly, he texted me last night and I said, I'll do my best. So that was a very quick glance at the,
Yeah, I didn't
but it
expect you
seems
to have
that
a
seems to
full.
be right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, moving on, or do you have another question?
Not about this, but something else that seemed to be, didn't Ms. McGuan bring up something that was gonna need to be discussed kind of urgently, somewhat urgently about 4B?
4B and 7C.
Well, we just voted on 7C.
Right, that's done, but 4B is a new,
It was just to update
It's
you
still
to what's going
TBD.
on. It's still to be determined.
oh, so there's no action required yet for us, not even for
I just
the,
want you to know that it's most likely coming in November that we'll have to combine, and at some point you'll probably want to vote on combining.
so we're comfortably within that 60-day,
So
whatever.
you don't want to do until we get there.
Okay. Next item are announcements. Mr. Shirley, excuse me, would you read the announcements and include the ones that our wonderful member of the public referenced earlier?
I will do my best, yes. I have July the 15th as the last day to vote in the primary runoff election. I have July 18th, right here at 2555 Lexington Road at 3 PM will be our pre-certification meeting, followed by at 5:30 PM, the certification meeting for the July 15th primary runoff election. And then I have August 12th, 4:30 PM, right here at 2555 Lexington Road, our August regular meeting.
Love it.
Anything else that I've not missed?
Nope. Any other,
We're debating because that meeting is while we're all at conference. Did we move it? Did it get moved?
we should move it a week prior or later.
Probably a week.
No, I feel like you did forecast it happening.
Let me check.
Why don't we do it
Yes.
later and then y'all might.
Well, I
be
think
able
we
to-
already,
We moved it
Did
to
it?
the 5th.
Yeah.
you have a thing?
Ah,
Look at you.
Goodness.
That's impressive.
August 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
all right. So then,
Yeah, that's right. That's what I
correct.
wanted.
Under announcements, August 5th, 4:30 PM, 2555 Lexington Road, the August regular meeting.
All right. Motion on the floor to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, Ms. Fambro, second, Ms. Till, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Unless you.
All right.
Adjourn.
Certification.
5:07.
Buddy, you know, somebody?